e3, and Gary's fighting for dear life here, guys.
Now he's hoping against hope that this end game is okay for him. But what's going on?
It's not okay.
It looks
it looks hideous. Hideous. Take, and put your king on f5. You know, like a true champion. The king is going to be beautiful there because it will, you know, check to this pawn, and it'll protect this pawn, and maybe even get you a winning king and pawn endgame after rook e8 and rook e3 check. This looks hideously.
There is a rook b3 in this position specifically.
Okay.
Right. And rook f7 can happen. Maybe.
And I
still. So the move I need to deal with is king f5. So maybe it's rook c3 I need to play. Rook c3. But you actually have an f3 idea as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can play. Yeah, I mean, well,
no, but now I can play rook c7. Now, what you just did, I can play rook c7 against. And I'm not sure either. I'm just trying to defend. I mean, this is the only thing they must be calculating. Can I take now on? I guess I should take on h7. I don't want to leave you with all those extras on that side. Exactly. And now hope for some activity with my rook. I mean,
I don't know, Maurice.
As long as you can say you're not sure, yes. That's all I want you to say. Because the other position, you're very sure.
I like
okay,
black.
Here I play king f2.
King f2. Rook comes here.
I'm going to play h3 check, chase your king back, and then I'm going to take on h3 check.
Oh, no, I don't like h3. No, I don't like h3 check. Just a second. How did you trick me? That was
you know, I'm in Brooklyn right now. We, you New Yorkers, we come up with some little hustle techniques from time to time.
Rook c3? How can you play rook c3? Okay, so king f5. And what did you do? You tricked me. How did you trick me?
I just played very straightforward moves. I played rook c3, and then I put the rook on c7.
Rook to c7. Okay, that was a good move.
And look at this.
And I wanted to take the pawn.
Magnus has
played rook f7.
He's played rook f7, anticipating the depth of rook c3 and rook c7. Is what I'm going to say. But I don't know.
But we're hearing that rook e3 is a really good move here.
Sure. What has happened? And Magnus is in shock.
What?
Look at Magnus's face.
What?
Look at Magnus's face as he realizes he's thrown away his advantage.
What kind of move was rook f7? That was terrible.
Oh, and he's made that gun sign to his brain saying, "I gotta shoot myself for doing what I just did."
He thought that bishop e2 there'd be rook e2, rook f4 maybe, but there's rook takes e5 check in between move. That's the problem.
Wow. Oh boy, Garry about to save what looked like a completely dead loss position.
Wow, incredible. That was terrible. Wow. So this extra, what do you want to call it, finesse, rook f7 was actually a mistake because rook e3, and by the way, you can't just play rook f5 and say, okay, I'll keep all the pluses in my position as knight d4. Is going to make you a very, very unhappy person.
But something funny just happened. Just happened. Garry played a quick king e3, and Magnus played rook g4, and
what?
I don't know, that pawn on g5.
King e3, was that the right move? What?
I'm just saying, it looks like, well, let's not speak too soon. King e3 may not have been the best way to play.
I've been thinking that Garry wants to activate his rook, and the move king e3 is a little confounding because that doesn't activate your rook. I wanted to
how can he possibly keep a pawn here?
Well, you got to play rook f2, right? You got to. I mean, I'm trying to activate the rook.
But that doesn't help. Rook takes g5. Oh, wait. You'll pick up all the queenside pawns. So rook f2, rook g5, rook f7, rook to h5 can be met by rook b7, rook h2, check.
I can check and
no,
take
because
a
I win your
pawn.
B2 pawn. I win your
Well,
B2 pawn at the end.
Well, it depends. Let's say I go check, Maurice.
Yeah, and king c5.
And king c5. Now, can't I draw by putting your pawns in the... I get some really effective blockade, right?
Possibly. This end, that would have been an interesting end game. Garry has gone for something else. He's opted instead for rook d2 and rook c2. Magnus has lopped off the g5 pawn, and we're going to see something quite similar to this position. If Garry now plays
check.
Yes, if Garry now plays rook to c7, we're going to see this endgame transpire, and we're there. Rook on c7. We're going to see the very similar endgame to what we just discussed. Actually,
looks like a transposition, doesn't it?
With the kings on different square, or at least with the black king on a different square.
The king was forcibly moved from d6 to e6. It's a very subtle.
Still. Yeah, he can still transpose. So rook. So Magnus has to now decide. Boy, Garry's on the edge once again. Well, about to go down a pawn. But what's happening?
But here, unfortunately, I think Magnus has a really clear choice. He can play the move rook h5, a line that we discussed, or he could play the move rook b5. Let me defend this pawn, attack the pawn on b2. If you pause for b3, that gives me the time I need to just play h6 and, play a pawn up, essentially. Okay, the rook is good, but the extra pawn should be close to winning.
But h6 allows rook h7. Whoa, Garry took on h7. Hold on. Wow, we're in an exciting endgame suddenly.
Oh, he did play rook b5 in the game.
He did. Rook b5. I'm sorry. It did get played, but Garry took on h7 immediately. He did not pause. He allowed rook takes b2, and now he's played a4.
Okay, this is a much more sensible choice by Garry.
Even if you get the a pawn, you'll be left with your a pawn, which is not exactly the pawn you want to have in order to win this game.
And it's a blitz game now, guys. 1 minute to 3 minutes, as Garry's just played the move h4.
This is looking this is looking really drawn, actually.
h4.
Wait.
We've got rook b4.
Yeah, h4 is rook b4, though. Hold on.
Rook b4, cutting off the king, so the king doesn't get counterplay with king f4, king g5.
But also just attacking stuff.
Yeah, that too.
Both pawns are going to drop if you try to move your rook away. Is h4 a mistake?
I don't know, but it looks like rook b4 is really good.
Looks, I mean, huge.
And he's played it because what you said, Jennifer, the white king is completely cut off now. And I'm going to just play b6, king f5, and I'm going to start picking up some weak pawns. Rook h6 on the board. Okay, it makes sense. Garry's prepping. If you go king f5, h5 will draw the game. So king f6.
So king f7 was played, h5 on the board.
Right. And like you say,
oh, look at this. Garry was hoping after this capture to play rook b5. And if you play rook b4, trade the rooks and his king quickly comes over. That's what he was hoping for. That line, well, we're seeing it differently now. If you go back one move,
Right,
yes, rook takes, no, keep going. h5 takes, rook takes a4, and then rook b5. And if you play,
then he has
rook b4, then rip it off and play king to d4, and we get the draw. Garry is
gonna get the same thing.
Drawing anyway. Look at that.
Yeah, because the king is so far away. So if rook a4, rook b5 is going to force rook b4, right?
Let me just refresh
so you need your
my
king
board.
like to leap to c7 or something.
So
b5, b6,
right.
b5. So if you play rook a4, rook b5.
Yes, exactly.
That's transposons. That's
Garry has found his way to it. Now, this is the position that he has to worry about. He played rook to e4, also calculating that he'd be drawing that endgame as well.
That king and pawn endgame.
That king and pawn endgame, because he could not be forced away from his pawn.
But king D, this is a draw, guys. I mean, this is an easy draw, actually. The king comes to c2.
Wow.
Wow.
Garry showed some tenacity.
Like, wait a minute.
And look at Magnus. Magnus is disgusted. Magnus is thinking, man, I let him off the hook. You called Magnus a legend, by the way. You've used this word twice, the legends. Magnus is quite young and still playing, but he is indeed going to go down as one of the greatest players ever. But the chance to defeat Garry has come up short. The truth, the legend Garry Kasparov playing
slipped away.
Past legend playing against the present the future legend Magnus Carlsen, but it has slipped away indeed. And the game has ended in a draw. Kudos to Garry for surviving what looked like